Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another episode of the 10 years of the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen movie toy line. In today's episode, I'm going to be taking a look at not one, not two, but all three of the Transformers ROTF ARCEE Sisters, which all include Arcee, Chromia and Elita-1. And for those of you who are in the know, you're probably wondering why I'm taking a look at Elita-1, as she is in fact a Hunt for the Decepticons toy line character rather than a Revenge of the Fallen character. The simple fact is that I actually wanted to review all three of the sisters in one accumulative video, and Elita-1 is in fact a direct repaint of the Revenge of the Fallen Chromia, so to me it wouldn't sit right just reviewing Arcee and Chromia. So in this review you are in fact getting a bonus review of an early look at one of the Hunt for the Decepticon toy line figures. Starting things off, of course, we're going to be taking a look at the Lux class Arcee. Now I've got to start this review off with saying that I absolutely love the ARCEE Sisters in their vehicle modes. I definitely think that is where they shine, and that is where they look the best, and Arcee is no exception. She is an absolute incredible looking motorcycle and is a fantastic looking deluxe class figure. This is a really nice deluxe scale, so you really are able to see a lot of different detailing. As you can see, we can see the front lights have been in fact cast in a almost bluish type of transparent clear plastic with some nice ridge detailing in order to make it look authentic. We've got the handlebars as well as the brake bars at the top. We've also got some fantastic mechanical detailing in order for the bike to actually look realistic. We've got some awesome Cybertronian tattoos with a lovely silver fade over the top, and I really like the design of the rims on the motorcycle. As you can see on the front one, we've got the brake disc in there, and that looks awesome on both sides. We've got some piston detailing, and then on the top you can make out where the seat section would be, and we've also got the Autobot insignia, and flipping it around to the back you've got where the license plate should be as well as where the exhaust pipe should be. So a super awesome looking motorcycle. She does in fact have her kickstand, which you can lift up if you don't wish it to be deployed, and the figure does roll incredibly well as well. These wheels are in fact on extremely smooth rolling pin joints, so they are able to freely roll incredibly well. However, I do tend to kick the kickstand out in order to sit her up upright. She does in fact come with a sidecar, and her one appears to be a blaster type of weapon, which you can actually incorporate in the robot mode as a display stand. As you can see here, we can pick out some nice detailing of some Gatling guns. We've got that same almost pinkish type of red paint app on the top, and here it looks as if though this is supposed to be a seat of where perhaps Arcee would be in fact housing some humans, and then you've got some nice mechanical detailing on the side. And in terms of vehicle mode storage, there is a small slot on her back wheel that will simply plug into this tab here, and essentially all you want to do for that is align it appropriately, and that is Arcee with her sidecar stacking up really nicely on the side of the vehicle. And as you can see, she is also able to be stabilized by utilizing this sidecar, so it's a really nice added accessory. However, it does play more of a role in the robot mode. So just setting Arcee off for the side now, taking a look at the deluxe class Chromia. As you can see, she is also a fantastic looking motorcycle. Arcee and Chromia are in fact completely different molds, so this is a very different bike design to that of Arcee's, and I actually think it's probably the most superior bike design out of the two ARCEE sisters. As you can see, she is just covered in different Cybertronian tattoos on both sides, which is a fantastic, nice added detailing touch. We've got some lovely mechanical detailing, whilst not painted, but crafted incredibly well into the plastic. And then if you turn it around, we've once again got the exhaust pipes. We've got where her missile actually stores, and we've got where the license plate would be. We've got some fantastic silver paint apps on the back of the wheel there, and then also on the front also. And I love how they've actually painted the inside of her wheel a blue color to match the on-screen movie appearance. She's got a really awesome looking handlebar section with the front headlights, and she too has got the handles and brake bars at the top, which looks super nice. She's also got an Autobot insignia with some more Cybertronian tattoos, and then when you flip it onto the underside, you could pick out a chain which has been really nicely painted, and she too also has a kickstand, which you are in fact fact able to deploy. So a super nice looking motorcycle. She does in fact roll incredibly well as well, much like Arcee. So another fantastic looking ARCEE sister. I do believe that this is in fact a Suzuki, so it is one of the fastest motorcycles on the planet, and she too also comes with a sidecar-esque type of accessory. Once again, this is more of a display base, as all of the ARCEE sisters do in fact balance on their wheels, but this one's actually slightly more interesting in terms of design. As you can see, we've got detailing such as treads, so perhaps this is supposed to glide along the floor, and we've got some Gatling guns and a cannon situated there. So this looks really awesome, and in order to implement it onto the figure when in bike mode, you simply just want to align it with this section. So you simply just slide this in just like so, and that is essentially how you display her in her motorcycle mode whilst utilizing this. You can use the kickstand to elevate her, to perhaps make her look as if though she's doing a wheelie, which actually looks pretty cool as well. So a really nice added touch, but once again is more for the robot mode incorporation. And then finally we turn to the final ARCEE sister, and that is in fact Elita-1. Now just quickly bringing Chromia out, as you can see they are exactly the same molds. However, I've got to say that Elita-1's metallic paint apps do definitely help to differentiate her from Chromia, so that is a great reuse of the mold. However, in the movie, Elita-1 was a different CGI model, so it would have been nice if Hasbro would have given us a different mold for this character, but nevertheless, the Studio Series is sure to correct that in the future. As you can see, she's too got some lovely detailing. However, this time it's been picked out in a nice silver paint. She's also got some Cybertronian tattoos all over her, and we've got this fantastic metallic, almost purple-like colour situated throughout the front area of the motorcycle. And then when you turn it around, we've once again got some nice detailings picked out in a silver paint. And then flipping around to the back, she does in fact have a painted license plate, which none of the other ARCEE sisters do in fact have. So that is definitely a really nice added touch, and to me this almost looks as if though it is supposed to spell Elita, but that is up to your interpretation. So in terms of their vehicle modes, I honestly think that the ARCEE sisters look absolutely fantastic. They are a great set of motorcycle sisters, but of course they do in fact transform. Now, kicking the transformation off, of course, firstly I'm going to start off with Elita-1. I won't be transforming Chromia in this video, considering she has the exact same transformation as Elita-1. So just setting these two figures off to the side now. Her transformation is as follows. So you simply want to fold out these sections here. You want to take this here and bring these handlebars inwards. These are once again up to individual interpretation. However, that is just how I like to display them. This whole section here, you are going to want to in fact pry it away from the body, and that will dislodge it, which will allow you to fold all of this out. And then we can proceed to fold that out, and then flip Elita-1's head sculpt out, and then come to this side and flip that out and bring these around and tab them into place. As you can see, upon transforming her, we are in fact exposed to more of that fantastic metallic purple-like paint apps. We're going to want to rotate this section around and just rest it just like so. This wheel we're going to want to bring down, and this section here will in fact sit in between these grooves. So you just want to snap that into place just like so. Take the license plate and fold it backwards, and then coming now to her arms, straightening this joint out, taking this and in fact collapsing this backwards. It does in fact sit more or less like that, or you could bring it around and sit it along her arm like this. So once again, it is up to individual interpretation, and then you just want to straighten this arm out, take this section and snap it back just like so. And there you have Elita-1 transformed in her robot mode, looking really quite cool. Now, bringing out her sidecar, as you can see, these two sections here do in fact plug in the same sections as they did in vehicle mode. So you're more or less just going to want to align those up appropriately. And there you have a display base for Elita-1. And then next we transform Arcee. Now, I've got to be transparent with this and say that it has been a very long time since I have in fact transformed Arcee, so please do excuse me if I am slightly rusty on her transformation. To begin with, from what I remember, you have to come to this section here and just begin unprying all of this, and then take this here and flip this around. Now, I do believe that we are supposed to bring these sections together. However, it doesn't appear as if though they're going to line up. So something like that, I imagine. And then with this, she's got a rather disconjointed type of torso section. So take the arm, fold that and flip that around. And then with this, we're going to want to lift this backwards, pull out her hand, take her blade weapon, which is unfortunately already deployed, and rotate that around just like so. And then come to this arm here and just take this here and snap that down just like so. Now, from what I remember, you have to take this and clip that into place to solidify this joint, and then take this, and then this whole joint here does in fact rotate around just like so. And then flipping her around to the other side, we then take this here and we rotate this joint around. She's got lots of different joints that do rotate. We collapse this down and then take this section here and bring this down also on a hinge joint, and then pull her head section forwards, collapsing in her torso area. Take the arm and snap that into place just like so. And then we more or less have Arcee fully transformed in her vehicle mode, and then we take her sidecar and just snap her into place. And here we have all three of the ARCEE motorcycle sisters transformed and in their robot modes. And what a rather obscure design that they all have. These really are some of the most peculiar Transformers movie characters, and to me just scream the essence of the Michael Bay aesthetic. Kicking things off, of course, we'll take a look at Arcee first, considering she is the leader of the pack, just taking her off her stand. As you can see, I actually think the figure has a super nice looking face sculpt. It is definitely very feminine in its design and does have a very sleek and slick appearance. We've also got some nice silver paint apps, and I do believe that she does in fact have a very subtle hint of light piping. So if you do shine some light through that, it will illuminate her eyes and make her appear as if though they are in fact glowing. Moving down to her torso section, we've got some nice mechanical detailing, and considering the ROTF line was plagued with a gimmick called Mech Alive, if you take her head and thrust it forward, as you can see, all of these gears in her torso area will in fact begin to maneuver, which is a really nice added touch and was actually one of my favourite gimmicks from the movie toy lines. As you can see here, she does in fact have her blade, which when you push it back in, it simply is deployed via this button. It shoots out just like so, and has also got some super nice detailing on it with some Cybertronian hieroglyphs and some rugged rough edges, and it's been done in a really nice blue transparent clear plastic. You can make out detailings such as her hand, and then on this side, as you can see her fingers bleeding out through this rather kibbly type of section. This to me does appear to be some kind of blade accessory, and with this section here, it definitely looks as if though this could be a razor blade. Turning to her torso, there are just so many different joints here. As you can see, there is some nice piston detailing on this as well. And then when you flip it to the underside, you can also pick out some nice detailing. And she does in fact have the 2 motorcycle wheels actually as her leg. And you could in fact actually roll this figure around in robot mode utilizing the wheels. However, she honestly won't stand up for anything, considering that there is no stable points on her. Now, in terms of articulation, she is loaded with joints. She has a ball joint, which allows her to look left and right on a very stiff joint still. It can in fact look up and down due to this Mech Alive gimmick. Both of the arms are on ball joints, so it can rotate 360 and hinge out to the sides. There's a ball joint here for the elbow, so you can rotate that as well as hinge that up and down. No articulation at the hand. This arm here is able to move up and down on this joint. It can also swivel forwards and backwards and hinge out on this joint here. It can also rotate 360. There is also a ball joint up there, and you can bend at the elbow well above 90 degrees, so it's almost a double jointed elbow joint. And then here she is in fact on a ball joint, so you can hinge her forwards and backwards and left to right and even side to side. This joint here does in fact rotate as well, so you can swivel that up and down. This here is a hinge, so you can hinge that up and down as well. And I do believe there is a hinge joint here as well, allowing you to rock that forwards and backwards. And I do believe that is roughly about it for this whole waist joint. So it does in fact have a great range of articulation, and you could definitely get her into some very obscure poses. And then finally, of course, the wheels do roll incredibly smoothly, much like we saw in the vehicle mode. And then taking a look at both Chromia and Elita-1, considering they are the same molds, as you can see, their paint schemes are completely different. I actually do prefer the paint scheme on Elita-1. I do believe she is painted a lot better than Chromia. As you can see, she's got so much more silver paint, and I love the metallic purple that they've used for the majority entirety of her robot mode. Bringing Chromia in for a closer look. As you can see, she also has got a super nice looking face sculpt, which is once again very feminine and sleek in design. We can pick out the hand in her forearm, which is really cool, and she does in fact have this really massive, very exaggerated, probably inaccurate blaster weapon, but it does look rather cool on her as well. And you can pick out some nice circuitry detailing in there. And then when you flip it around to the sides, we've got the mechanical detailing. This is where the front section of the motorcycle ends up, which is on a ball joint, so you could lift it forwards or push it backwards if you so choose. And then we've got the Autobot insignia underneath. And then once again, this is her sidecar, and we've got some nice detailings on that as well. And that acts as a stand for her in robot mode. Bringing Elita-1 in, she too also has got a nice face sculpt. I do believe that it is painted slightly better than Chromia's. However, I do like that Chromia does in fact have painted blue eyes, as Elita-1 does look rather dead. She does have some rather bland grey plastic, but that is definitely flushed out by the plethora of different paint apps that she does in fact have. As you can see, her cannon, as it is slightly larger than usual, it does droop her arm down considerably, even more so than Chromia, as I do believe some mold degradation was probably present within this figure. But nevertheless, I think that as a free, these motorcycle sisters look really awesome. Now for articulation for this mold, the head is on a ball joint, so it can look left and right, up and down. It can also hinge once again on an almost Mecha Live gimmick. However, it doesn't really end up anywhere. There's no gears in there at all, so it is rather obsolete in terms of its design. The shoulder pads can be brought forwards and backwards. Both arms are on ball joints and do have mushroom peg swivels. This is one problem where her torso just wants to completely rip apart, which if you want to recreate the ARCEE Sisters' death from Revenge of the Fallen, you could definitely use to your benefit. She also has a hinge joint here, as well as a hinge joint at the elbow. No articulation at her wrist. The same applies for this arm, only this time she does in fact have a Mecha Live joint, that when you bend this here, it does in fact push this forward, just like so. And you have some kind of mechanism joint, which I actually think looks quite cool. Both Chromia and Elita-1 do have transparent clear missiles. Elita-1's is blue, whereas Chromia's is transparent. And there is a small button under here, which after almost 10 years does in fact fire incredibly well. She also has got a hinge joint here via these two ball joints. She's also got a hinge joint here as well, and you could kind of get a swivel out of the waist joint utilizing these ball joints, so you can pose her around in a few different ways. She has a hinge joint here which allows you to raise and lower the body, and then once again her wheel can spin. So overall, for rather disproportionate robots, I do think that they look really cool as a trio. Now back when these three figures, more particularly Chromia and Arcee, were released, everybody thought that these figures would in fact combine, considering that we got an awesome piece of concept art that was actually supposed to be present in Revenge of the Fallen, of where all three sisters combine into a super awesome combination mode. However, once the movie debuted, fans quickly realised that that piece of concept art was scrapped very early on, and to me, I honestly think that Elita-1 was supposed to be a brand new mold that was really meant to cement the combination mode, but as the combination never appeared in the movie, I do believe that is why she is merely a repaint, and why the combination never actually was officially shown by Hasbro. However, we do in fact have some combination ports on her, and to showcase that, there is this joint here at the back which can be pulled down on Arcee, and as you can see here, it is in fact a clip system which you can in fact clip all three of the sisters on. It is rather difficult to do, so I won't go into too much detail. However, I will just show you vaguely. On Chromia, it does deploy from the base, as the same with Elita-1, so just deploy that as well, and you're essentially supposed to align it in a way so that all three sisters can in fact combine. However, it is very difficult to do. So just bringing this down, essentially what you want to do is just slide this in, lift her wheel up, slide this section in, just like so, and it will hook into place. And then if you move her arm out of the way, we should hopefully be able to plug Chromia on. But as I stated, I honestly don't think that it is designed to do this, as Elita-1 isn't a new mold, and it does get rather stuffy in there, and there isn't much room for maneuvering. But if you push and pull, you should be able to get them to tab into place until you get all three of the locks locked in, and there you essentially have a very messy Arcee combination mode. Now I do imagine that if you had the patience and time, you could maybe get this into some type of cool mode, but this is essentially them all combined by using the combination joint. I honestly can't see any other way of configuring them where the limbs actually combine or vice versa. But as for now, considering it was never officially released by Hasbro in terms of combination instructions, this whole combine mode is really up to your imagination. So that was my look back review on the Revenge of the Fallen Arcee Elita-1 and Chromia Deluxe class figures. I really enjoyed putting this review together, as these are actually some of my favourite deluxe class figures to come out of the Revenge of the Fallen toy line, despite them being hated by the majority of fans. I actually really like each and every one of these figures, and despite Elita-1 never getting her own official mode, I definitely think that her new paint scheme from the rest of the figures definitely differentiates her enough. Their motorcycle modes are by far the superior modes, however their robot modes too are actually not quite bad, and they are quite faithful to what we see in the Revenge of the Fallen movie. Of course, we do have a Studio Series set of these figures on the horizon, which of course I do believe will diminish these figures in terms of movie accuracy, but as for now, these are really good figures and I'm a massive fan of their scale. I hope that you enjoyed this look back review. If you did, please let me know down in the comment section below, and until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.